You can download the art seen in the video for free, link in the description. Call Deferred is a function that will call the function inside during idle time, which idle time is the moment after the current physics process and process frame, but before the next, meaning that the current frame ends, then it's idle time so all the deferred activity occurs. Then we move on to the next frame. To use Call Deferred, either call the Call Deferred function and pass the function you want to defer inside of a string, followed by any arguments you want for that function that you are deferring. Or alternatively, you can grab the function that you want to defer without its brackets, then call the Call Deferred function, passing any arguments you want for that function that you were deferring. Also, if your function that you were deferring has more than one argument, then you can just pass the value that you want for each argument using commas to separate the values. Additionally, Godot has its own sort of built-in use of the Call Deferred function, which is the difference between the free and queue-free functions, with free immediately deleting the node or object, and queue-free deleting that node or object at the end of the current frame, allowing you to access that node or object before the frame ends. However, there is a certain difference between using queue-free and Call Deferred, and that is the queue-free function will always occur after all the deferred calls have completed, providing a potential reason why you may want to use Call Deferred for the free function, although in most cases I would just recommend using queue-free, as it is the safest and easiest method to use and manage in almost any game project. Godot also has a Set Deferred function as well, which acts the exact same as a Call Deferred function, however instead being used to set values on properties or variables. And keep in mind that the only difference between Set Deferred and Call Deferred is instead of calling, you are setting. With signals, you can defer them as well in a similar way to deferring a function, where you just defer the emit function on the signal, forcing the signal to occur during the idle time. And you can see that we just use Call Deferred on the emit function, also passing any arguments for the signal. Alternatively, you can have the functions that are connected to the signal be deferred individually by passing connect deferred after the name of the function that you are connecting to. This will make it so that when the signal is emitted, it will call deferred this function. Then once idle time occurs, this function will then activate, and by using this method we can connect the signal to other functions without deferring them, allowing for us to choose what functions we do or don't want to defer. Something you may want to question is the order of the deferred calls. What functions or property setting occurs first or last within the idle time? As I mentioned before, the difference between Call Deferred and Set Deferred is that one calls a function and the other sets a property or a variable, meaning that the order of events within the idle time is the same as the order you call these functions within your script. So in this example, the idle time will activate the deferred calls starting with the add child function, then setting the position, then calling the hide function, and lastly calling the show function. Also keep in mind that if you have multiple scripts, each with their own set or call deferred functions, whatever script calls their deferred function first will have that deferred call first inside the idle time, as idle time and the deferred calls within is separate from all scripts, meaning that the list that the idle time will go through includes all deferred calls from all scripts in your game, ordered how they were called during the frame previous to that idle time. Also, if you were to call deferred on a function like my function, and inside that we call defer another function, all that happens is that my third function will just be added to the end of the list within the idle time that this function is activated inside of. And because it is added to the end of the list, it means that my function will activate first, then my function 3 will be added to the list, then my function 2 will activate, then my function 3 will activate. Calling or setting deferred inside of a deferred function will not make that call or set deferred occur in the next idle time. Instead, it'll happen inside the current idle time. There are many cases where it is best to use Call Deferred. Such includes deleting a node or object, as you would want to remove the object at the end of the current frame, as to be sure that no node interacting with the deleted object errors due to it thinking that the node still exists, which can occur if two of this node interacts with the player at the same time. One of these nodes may delete the player, and the other node who is yet to run their code may not be able to anymore, as the body variable now refers to an invalid or deleted node, causing an error, whereas using Call Deferred on free, or just using the queue-free function will resolve this, as both nodes with copies of the script could resolve their code with the player, then once the frame ends, the player is deleted. Additionally, queue-free is going to be best compared to deferring the free function, as queue-free will always occur at the end of the idle time, making it the safest option in this use case. Other reasons for deferring can also involve anything relating to affecting a collision shape that deals with physics, as by using set or Call Deferred when affecting a collision shape on physics objects, you are able to make the effects of that change more predictable within the physics scenario, as these changes will occur outside of the physics frame and inside of the idle time. Now, an example of using Call Deferred in a game can include when the player dies and you want to reset the level. In this example, inside of my body entered signal function of my spike, I get the tree which is the core of the scene, then I call reload current scene to restart the level. In this case, it is better to instead use Call Deferred, which you can write in either of these two ways based on which one you think looks cooler. The reason why we use Call Deferred is the same as I mentioned before with deleting a node. When you reload the current scene, you are essentially deleting every active node, object, and script attached, meaning that if one node is referring to another and you reload the current scene before that node can resolve its code, then an error will likely occur, meaning that with Call Deferred, we were starting the level at the safest possible time, Additionally, it's the same when changing scenes. Here, inside of my body enters signal function for my finish flag. I change the scene to the next level. Changing a scene is the same as reloading the current scene. However, reload current scene simply changes the scene to whatever the current scene was, whereas change scene to file, I'm changing the scene to a specific one that I pass through with a string. This again means that when changing the scene, all nodes, objects, and attached scripts of the current scene will essentially be deleted, making call deferred best to use in this situation as to avoid errors similarly mentioned with the reload current scene. And again, you can write it in either way based on preference. Now you have a basic explanation of how to use call deferred, set deferred, and how to defer a signal, as well as why you should use call deferred in some situations. And don't forget, you can check out the project files, link in the description.